Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gridiron Network Podcast. Today, Harry and I are going to be looking at some of the top free agents on the board for 2026. We're going to be giving our predictions on where these guys are going to go. As well, this podcast is brought to you by Poggers. Poggers, use code TGN for 10% off all items, hydration, and energy drink mix. Harry, how are we feeling today?
Fantastic, man. I mean, it already feels like we're getting back into things. We just had the combine that's wrapped up, and
Yes.
now free agency starts here, and I'm excited to predict where some of these guys are going to land. Now, I kind of want to let's have a little competition. Let's see who gets more of these correct.
A little competition, me versus you versus anybody who leaves a comment down below if you want to participate along. We'll have a little competition, friendly competition. We'll decide who's the best at predicting where guys are going to go, I guess. Some big names, some not so big names in free agency. I do feel like overall it's a bit of a weaker free agency class. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it definitely is a little bit more weak, but I mean, there's definitely some guys in here that I would say there's just a lot of more mid-tier guys. I just don't think they're going to completely change a team, but I think they can be some pretty solid additions to an offense.
100%, 100%. Some guys that are not going to put you over the top, but help you out there. Yeah, I say let's just hop right into these free agencies. So the biggest and most important one that everybody wants to talk about is going to be quarterbacks. So
Oh
we'll
yeah.
start things off. So free agency predictions for quarterbacks. We got four guys on our list here that we're going to talk about. I've got Malik Willis going to the Dolphins, Kyler Murray to the Vikings, Kirk Cousins to the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers heading back to the Steelers. Harry, where do you got these guys going?
So my free agency predictions for quarterbacks, I got Malik Willis going to the Cardinals, Kyler Murray going to the Vikings, Kirk Cousins going to the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers.
So pretty similar. So now that
Yeah,
we're gonna
I'd
go
say
break
so.
through player by player as well, just kind of talk a little bit more about these guys rather than just skipping over everybody as a whole. I think it's the most sought after guy here has to be Malik Willis after how he played for the
Yeah.
Packers this year. I've got him going to Miami. You've got him going to the Cardinals. You think they're done with Brissett?
Man, I just think I have them signing another once we get to the running backs here. I have
Oh,
them signing one of these guys as well. And I think if these two additions to their offense, I think it could be a pretty solid offense. And their defense didn't start off horribly last year. They just got injured a lot last year. And once we get to the running back, we'll talk about it once we get there, but I think it could be a pretty solid offense next
as a James Conner dynasty owner, that scares me.
year.
Uh,
Dude, you need to sell that, dude.
for
You're gonna
what? For
get,
pennies?
dude, dude.
I don't even
I don't
think I'd
know,
get a
man.
fourth
He
round
might
pick
be
for him.
cooked. He's cooked.
Yeah, he's done for, dude. He's like what, 31?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's done for. He's been
too many
reliable for me
injuries
though.
now.
Kyler
But
Murray
I
though,
mean,
unanimously, we agree with the next three guys, but we'll start with Kyler Murray. He's got to go to Minnesota, right? I mean, I don't
it
think JJ's the starter next year.
it makes just way too much sense. There's no way you can just run that back with JJ as the QB1 and not have somebody that can possibly overtake him as in the quarterback 2 position.
Yeah, at the very least, I mean, I think Kyler would start over him, but at the very least, he
Yeah,
needs to be
I
brought
agree.
in
I agree.
for competition reasons. I would, I'd be really curious to see what Kevin O'Connell can do with Kyler Murray. If maybe you can kind of hone in his pocket passing skills, because he's always been a guy that scrambles out of the pocket, but maybe in a system like a KOC system, he might be able to really take that next leap.
Unfortunately for me, I've been a Kyler fan on when he was injured in 2 different years. And I'll be honest, if he goes to the Vikings, I am going to be. I feel like I would have to be pretty excited for him fantasy wise. Just his rushing value, and when you have
Yes.
Justin Jefferson, that is just always, a best scenario for a quarterback. So I don't know, man. I think it could get pretty interesting if Kyler was to go to the Vikings.
I saw, to stick with the Vikings talk, some people mocking the Vikings taking Kenyon Sadiq. And now if you put Kyler Murray in there with Kenyon Sadiq, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, if they bring back Jalen Naylor, I mean, that would be a nice offense, man. I
Yeah.
As a fantasy owner, I'd be happy for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it could definitely just, man, it's just, I don't know, man. How much money do they have to pay? Because they are like, oh, they are dead last in cap space.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When doing this list, I was not paying as much attention to cap as I should have been. But if we're being honest,
This one would be the most fun, though, man. I did the same thing.
in 2026, dude, I don't think cap space is a real thing. I'm sorry. It's the
Yeah.
most over
Yeah.
like every year people talk about cap space and no, we're so far under the cap space. All you gotta do is a couple of restructures, maybe cut some vets, and you're like 60 million over. Like nothing happened. I say it with the NBA all the time as well. Like cap space just doesn't exist anymore. Like it keeps going up. It's going up like 30 million again this year.
Yeah.
And then so it keeps going up because the NFL keeps going more and more global. So they're bringing in more and more revenue that allows this salary cap to keep going up. It just in general, it's so easy to restructure contracts nowadays.
Yeah, they always just figure out a way to get something going with those contracts. But I mean, we'll get into this next guy. We got Kirk Cousins. Both said the Jets here. I mean, I feel like this is just. I was really thinking about because the Jets have about 75 million in cap space. They're fourth in cap space. I was thinking if this could be a possible, if they really want to pay, but I don't think. Do you think they would pay a lot for a quarterback right after paying Fields?
I think Kirk comes in on a $15 to $20 million deal, something small. He just got paid by the Falcons. He's not going to get paid by anybody else. I honestly think it's a one and done here with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2 years if they draft a guy and want him to sit behind Kirk, because Kirk's not a bad guy to sit behind by any means.
No.
But yeah, I will say at first I did have Kyler Murray going to the Jets, and I changed it about an hour before we started the podcast. So, I think.
What did it for you? What made you switch?
The more and more I just thought about what would the New York Jets do, and bringing in a 38-year-old or however old he is, Kirk Cousins with half an Achilles.
Right up the Jets alley.
That screams New York Jets to me. So yeah, I think
and
it's
I
the
mean,
right choice.
Speaking of that, somebody that could fit that description to a T, the next quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Got him going back to Pittsburgh here. Yeah, I mean, this one's really easy. I think he plays for the Steelers or he is retiring.
Yeah, and I don't think he's retiring yet. I think he's going to be. I mean, his play's already declined. He's still an above-average quarterback, I think, but I think he's going to be a guy that plays until the wheels are off. I know you don't watch soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, as much as I do. Yeah. But there's an iconic meme in football by Jamie Carragher where he's talking about a player on my favorite team, ironically, but it's an older guy and he tells him, "Leave the football before the football leaves you." And he's like, and the football's left him. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a guy where the football leaves him before he leaves football. So I think he returns.
So I do got to ask then, if he doesn't play for the Steelers, you still think he's playing?
See, if he doesn't play for the Steelers, I don't know where he goes is the only thing. Because, I mean, maybe he goes to the Cardinals or the Dolphins, but I really think McCarthy's back there. I think he goes and reunites with McCarthy in Pittsburgh. I know he was talking good about McCarthy on the McAfee show today. It said some other wild things on the McAfee show. But
dude, he's so funny, man. He's so funny.
Yeah, I gotta admit, as much as I hate the guy, I hate's a strong word, but as much as I dislike the guy, no, I hate the guy. As much as I hate the guy, he's one funny dude.
Hey, dude, we got a big name here, man. I'll get into it first with my list here. So, free agency predictions for the running backs. Kenneth Walker, I got him going to the Commanders. Travis Etienne to the Cardinals. Aaron Jones, staying in division, going to Detroit. Kenneth Gainwell, re-signing with the Steelers. Rico Dowdle going to the Saints. And Tyler Algier going to the Broncos.
Okay, so this one we're really different, and I like that.
Okay.
I like how different we are. So, in fact, we didn't have any the same. Okay. So, my free agency predictions for the top running backs in this class. I've got Kenneth Walker going to the Broncos. Travis Etienne goes to the Giants. Kenneth Gainwell re-signs with the Steelers. Aaron Jones, I've got him going to Seattle, partner up with Charbonnet. Rico Dowdle, I've got him re-signing with the Panthers. And then Tyler Algier, I think he goes to the Jaguars. So, yeah, like I said, very different. So let's start at the top of the list, work our way down. Obviously, at number one, I mean, Kenneth Walker. You've got him going to the Commanders. I've got the Broncos. I think both fantastic spots for him to go. Do you think there's any shot he re-signs with Seattle?
No, I don't think so, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the only way is if he would take a pay cut, and I don't think he's going to do that. And he shouldn't do that because he's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a fantastic running back, and running backs don't get paid enough as is. So I don't think he should take a pay cut. But I don't think the Seahawks just can afford him. They have too many people to pay.
If his agent ever recommended for him to take a pay cut, he should immediately be fired. He needs to take 100% advantage of what just happened in the Super Bowl, and he needs to cash out. And if Seattle is not doing that, I just looked at the Commanders. They got a lot of money to spend, the fifth most cap space, and I just really do think that they need to make a splash at that position. And Kenneth Walker, I think he's the best running back available, and I think that's the big splash that's going to be made at that position.
Yeah, like you said, he's obviously the top running back available. I do think ETN's a close second. Which, speaking of ETN, I've got him going to the Giants. You've got him going to the Cardinals. That's the guy you said, man. Poor James Conner, he's out of there. But I think, I mean, him and Malik Willis would be a nice backfield. Especially, you still got Trey Benson back there as well. Not a bad running back by any means. Another young guy, but I think the Giants have been heavily linked to another running back. Some talks of even drafting Jeremiah Love, which I think is a little ridiculous. I get Love's an insane talent. I mean, there it is. I'm a Notre Dame guy, but at what, number 5 overall are they? Number 4 overall? I think that's a little high. Would you still have Scattaboo? But yeah, man, I like them signing ETN because it allows them to draft maybe a Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese, a Sonny Styles, at that pick there. So I like the pick of ETN, and I don't think ETN's going to go to a weaker team where he's like not going to compete. I think he got a taste of the playoffs this year, and I don't think he's going to want to go back to mediocrity.
Dude, so I'll be honest, man. Oh, dude, this vacuum's going off. These dogs, freak out for a second. But I completely disagree, dude, I think the whole Giants wanting an RB thing, I think that's completely smoke.
Yeah.
And where I do disagree, I think if you can take Jeremiah Love at 5, you take that over any of these running backs. I don't think they're going to pay Kenneth Walker as much as he wants. And if they have to pay ETN a lot, why pass on a top player in a draft for a guy like Travis Etienne? That's just kind of where I just don't. I think it's worth, because you see what's going on with Caleb Downs now, and you see this rumored medical stuff, right?
I'm not putting any stock, dude. Will Johnson.
Dude, okay. I'll be honest.
Same issue. I mean, there's been guys.
I've just heard a couple podcasts talk about it, so I thought it was worth bringing up. I mean, we can both agree that Jeremiah Love is a top player in this draft, and I just don't know why you sign a running back when you can just take him at 5, if you even want a running back, which I don't think they should. I think this is all smoke. I think Tyrone Tracy is a fine RB2, and Scattaboo, yes, he does need to get healthy, but I think Tracy is fine enough to wait. I think them wasting money on this would be insane when they need wide receiver a lot more. I think
if you have the money to spare, and you do, I think when it comes to if they are going to add a running back, I think it would be through free agency, because when you look at free agency running backs, and just how much teams are getting paid or players are getting paid, Ashton Genty is like the second highest paid running back in the NFL, and he's on a rookie contract, right? Whereas you might be able to get ETN on $8 or $9 million a year, if they go that route. I don't know if they will. It could just be smoke and mirrors, like you said. But I think if they do, I don't think they go and get Kenneth Walker. I think they grab an ETN who would complement Scattaboo really well.
I don't know, man. I just don't know why I mean, I don't want to spoil one of my wide receivers, but I just think if you were to just sign a wide receiver instead of this running back money, you have Scadaboo, possibly draft a Sonny Styles at 5 because he looked absolutely insane at the combine. I just think that's just the much better route they can take. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, this is free agency's coming up. Do you think it's dumb that free agency is before the draft?
I honestly like that it's before the draft.
Okay, because I saw a debate about that on Twitter, and I just wanted to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I like that it's before the draft because I guess the draft is a bit more unpredictable, so maybe it would be better the other way around. But I also like unpredictability. You know, I like when it's, I don't know, I just like when it's different like that. Next player here, I think this one will be pretty short and sweet because it's Kenneth Gainwell. We both had going to the Steelers. I think he carved himself a great role next to Jalen Warren. I don't see why he doesn't go back.
Yeah, I second that. He did a good job there. I'm pretty sure their GM came out and said that they would like him back, and I think he's gonna be there. And then we can talk. There's an old head that just got released from his team. Aaron Jones is a free agent, and I had the Lions. I don't think he's gonna leave that division. I think he can be a good fit there. They just traded Montgomery. They'll need somebody else to come in. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think at his old age he's going to be that much of a big impact anymore. But what do you think about him?
And on top of that, he's always been an injury-prone player, and now add the age to it, he's going to be even more injury-prone, as we saw. But I think he goes to Seattle because I think he would do well in a complementary role with Charbonnet. Because I mean, who's our other running back option? Velus Jones. Bum.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I think he goes to Seattle. Either way, he's going to be complimentary to someone somewhere. He's no longer a starting caliber running back. So yeah, I don't hate either of our options here. Then we get to Rico Dowdle, who we both have going to the NFC South. I just think he re-signs with the Panthers, while you think he goes to the Saints. I can honestly see either of these scenarios. Because while
I
at
gotta
times,
ask, why the Panthers? Why do you think that?
So while at times he looked like the far and away number one guy, I mean, Choba Hubbard carved himself a nice role again towards the end of the year and into the playoffs. You got Jonathan Brooks coming back, so maybe he doesn't re-sign there, but at times he looked like the number one guy there. So I don't know. I mean, the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, maybe he doesn't go to the Panthers because I totally forgot about Jonathan Brooks. Not that, I mean, 2 ACL injuries. I mean, is Jonathan Brooks really much of a factor?
I just think that he said he just wants carries, and I just don't think. I think there's better places he can go to get that, and that is why I did choose the Saints. I mean, you have Kamara. Unfortunately, hey, I mean, this guy was a fantasy beast most of his career, but he is washed, unfortunately, now. Just downhill on his career. And I think Rico could just come in and he can just be he can get so many carries. And you can have Kamara for catching. You have Keandre Miller, but he's always hurt anyway. So I just think Rico could be a really good fit in that offense.
So I left off 2 teams on my running back list because one of them is getting Jeremiah Love in the Saints and the Chiefs. And I don't know which one it's going to be, but I think Jeremiah Love goes to one of those teams, which is why I didn't include them here. Just because I thought they
starting
would
to think
Jeremiah
he's
Love.
Gone before that.
Really? You think he'd? I've seen some people saying the Titans, but I don't think the Titans grab him. I think they have bigger needs.
Saints are at 8. I think he's gone before 8 because I think it's Saints at 8, Chiefs at 9. I think he's going to be gone before 8.
Hey, we've still got.
We'll see. Hey, guess what? We got a mock draft coming up soon too. So
next
week.
We'll
see. We'll see where. Next week. We'll see where he goes.
We'll get into the last running back here before we move on to our receivers. Tyler Algier. I've got him going to the Jaguars. You've got him going to Denver. I had Kenneth Walker going to Denver, so you have Algier going there to play with R.J. Harvey. Again, just like I said with Rico Dowdle, I like both of these options. I think he'd be a great complementary piece to either R.J. Harvey or Bashal Tutin. I like them both.
Yeah, with Algier, I mean, dude, I'm not really in any dynasty leagues that I take that serious. And I don't think I have RJ Harvey. Would you be a little worried that they are trying to, because they were in the David Montgomery, they try to trade for him too. Like, they're
Yeah,
trying to add another back to that backfield.
I don't think RJ Harvey's their guy. I think he was good for
Yeah.
fantasy this year at times. He had a slow start, but I don't think he's their guy. And I think he's going to be another guy that's a good complementary piece, and that's not bad. What, he was a
Yeah.
third or fourth round pick? I mean, that's not a bad career.
I think they just need a big bruiser.
Yeah.
I think that's just a good compliment to RJ Harvey, and I don't think it's going to cost a crazy amount to get him, and they have a little bit of money to spend. So I think that can be a really good fit. Or a team that I did switch a last second on. I also had the Chiefs there as well.
I wouldn't hate that either.
Yeah, that can be also a pretty good fit because they desperately need a running back. They cannot keep rolling out Kareem Hunt and Brashad Smith. It's just not going to work.
And Pacheco.
Dude, I forgot about. Dude, that's exactly. They need a running back. They need a good running back.
Well, next up, we got receivers. I'll let you take away first because I know you got a couple good ones in there.
All right. Okay. All right, let's get it. So, my free agency wide receiver predictions. Alec Pierce. There's a lot going on right now, but at the end of the day, I think he's coming back. He's coming back, re-signing with the Colts. Rashid Shaheed. This one just happened. I think he's going to go to the Commanders. With Debo probably leaving, I think they're going to need somebody to stretch the field. I think he can fit that perfectly. Mike Evans, I'm changing this up. I got him going to the 49ers. Wan'Dale Robinson, the Titans. Tyreek Hill. I got a couple options here. I think it's either the Chiefs, the Bills, or the retirement home. I think that's pretty much your options there. Romeo Doubs, I got him going to the Patriots. Jawan Jennings going to the Seahawks. Stephon Diggs, prison. Now, specifically, he just got released from the Patriots, so he's not going to be in New England. So he lives in Maryland, and the closest prison in Maryland is Montgomery County Correctional Facility. So Stephon Diggs, I got him going to Montgomery County Correctional Facility. And Cheeseburger Debo, I got him going to the Giants. They need something. If they if they don't address that position in the draft, I think Debo is a possible candidate to go to the Giants.
Oh man, that was good. So you said Debo to the Giants, right?
Yes.
Oh, that was good. You know what? I'm changing a couple of mine around real quick before I.
Okay, you're good.
Before I get into mine,
try to write them down too.
Okay, so yeah, we've got a couple that are the same, some that are very different.
Cool.
All right, so my free agency predictions for wide receivers. Alec Pierce, I was heavily debating on this. I do think he seriously considers free agency, but I think he goes back to the Colts as well. Rashid Shaheed, I think, goes to the Giants. I think Mike Evans does re-sign the Buccaneers. I just can't see him going anywhere else. Tyreek Hill, I think he goes back to Kansas City. I think Wan'Dale Robinson goes to the Steelers. I think he'd probably get more targets than DK. Romeo Doubs, I agree. I think he goes to the Patriots. Jawan Jennings, I think, re-signs with the 49ers. Stephon Diggs, it's time. He's going to the Titans, where all wide receivers go out to pasture. He's going to Tennessee. Deebo Samuel, I think he stays in Washington, man. I think he had a nice little role this year with the Commanders. I think give him a little more time with Jaden Daniels. So I think he goes to the Commanders.
Cool. So you had some re-signs in there.
Yeah. Couple re-signs.
Now, which one caught my eye first? Okay, so I did want to address Mike Evans. I think there's a good chance that he re-signs, but if he leaves, I think he's just going to go somewhere where I want to say ring chase, but do you think the 49ers are a Mike Evans away from a Super Bowl?
I don't think the 49ers can see a Super Bowl because they're the 49ers, and they'll always find a way to not win a Super Bowl. They might make it, but they won't win a Super Bowl. But I could see him going to San Francisco, but I just can't, I'm trying to picture it in my head, and I can't see him playing anywhere besides Tampa Bay. You know, I don't know.
I got one team. I switched it last second with the 49ers, or to the 49ers. I originally had the Bills on there. What do you think? I feel like the Bills could be a Mike Evans away from a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I don't know how much cap space they have, but I definitely think they could be a Mike Evans. And, the other team, just like Stephon Diggs, he could be ready to go out to pasture, could go to Tennessee or to
Yeah.
Vegas. I mean, the two teams where wide receivers go to, to perish. But yeah, I don't know. I think he stays in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, I want to talk a little bit more about Wandell. What do you Why do you think the Steelers?
So the Steelers, I was trying to think of teams that one would be able to afford him, but two where he would get a lot of targets, and he could go back to New York, which I think he would have another nice role with Jackson Dart. But I think if he goes to Pittsburgh, I think this might be a hot take, but I think he'd be wide receiver one in Pittsburgh. I think DK Metcalf is best suited when he has another great receiver next to him. And I think Wandell Robinson is a great receiver, and I think he's an elite slot guy. What does Aaron Rodgers love? He loves those slot receivers, right? So I think
Yeah.
he would be feeding. And as a dynasty Wandell owner, I would be so happy if he went to Pittsburgh with the amount of reception. I think he'd average 7 receptions a game with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, here's my thing. I like the fit because, like, I own DK in fantasy. That guy was cheeks, man. It was very,
Yeah.
very disappointing. I thought it was going to be so much better than that. Very disappointing. But I think Wandell is going to try to get a bag. I'm not going to lie.
He
And
could.
I think the Titans, they're number 2 in cap space, and Brian Daboll is there. You got that connection. I just think the fit is just really good, and they desperately need a wide receiver. He would easily be the one there. He would get so many targets, and I really like we said earlier, this is a possible spot for Jeremiah Love to get drafted too. So they can add another weapon in this offense as well. But I just like a lot of the fit and the connections for the Titans for me, and that they have so much money to spend. I think that's just what's going to bring him there.
Next guy I want to talk about is Alec Pierce. So, obviously, as the Colts fan, I know you want him to come back. I'm not gonna lie, this is another one I changed at the very last minute. And when I say last minute, I mean while I was talking about my other people. I I had him going to the Giants, but I do think he goes back. Did you see what Sauce Gardner said on Twitter?
I retweeted it.
Yeah. For those of
That
you
was
that
awesome.
didn't see, he said, "Should I lock Alec Pierce in my basement and force him to sign the contract papers?"
That's awesome.
That's good, man.
Dude, I mean, I just really think we need him, man, to be honest. It's unfortunate that he is going to listen to these offers. I was hoping that we can get it locked up before that, but at the end of the day, I really do think he's going to be back in the team.
I think you're gonna have to pay him pretty handsomely, though.
Oh, it's going to cost a lot, but honestly, like, I really do think he is our wide receiver one.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it's gonna be a
So,
pretty penny.
yeah.
So I was just looking through the comments here on this, and somebody said we didn't trade 2 first rounders for you not to lock people down. Make it happen.
That's hilarious. That's a good one.
Next guy we'll talk about here, Tyreek Hill. You had a couple options, including retirement. One we both
Yeah.
agreed on was the Chiefs, and I mean we talked about this a couple weeks ago when this first happened. The two most likely teams are the Chiefs and the Bills, and I don't think that's a hot take to say at all. I really think he goes to one of those.
He's ring
two
chasing.
Teams. Yeah, 100%,
That's
and rightfully so.
That's all he's doing. Yeah, exactly. That's all he has to do. And I mean, it's either you go back to where you're familiar with the Chiefs, or you go be Josh Allen's wide receiver one. So I mean, two pretty good choices that he'll have.
Another guy here, one that we both agreed on, which I was kind of surprised, but it just feels like a perfect fit. Romeo Dobbs going to the Patriots. I mean, he'd immediately be, I'd say, wide receiver one, especially now that Diggs is out of there, right?
Yeah, I will say Booty was really good this year, man.
Yeah,
I
I'm
will
a
give
big
him
fan
credit.
of him.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, love Booty. I mean, he is a
Big
dog,
fan of Booty,
so,
big fan.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like This one was so quick. He just seems like the perfect just Patriot. Like he's exactly what that team needs, and I can just see him in May just working just perfect.
Yeah, I could just picture that big ass Guardian cap. on his head right now, and with the New England logo. It's picture perfect.
Catching touchdowns in the corner.
I'd be genuinely shocked if he
thing.
goes anywhere else.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's a perfect fit there.
Next one we'll touch on briefly. Stephon Diggs. I think he goes out to pasture in Tennessee. You think he goes to prison. Both honestly
Montgomery
might be similar.
County Correctional Facility
to be exact.
Yes.
Both similar,
yes.
Similar destinations. Yeah.
He's just, I mean, I don't know, man. I was pretty hopeful for how it was going to go. And
I really thought he was going to stay with New England up until these last month or two, but that's the Stephon Diggs story, man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that situation goes out. Yeah, I mean, like you said, if I had to pick a team, it probably would be the Titans. That does make that makes perfect sense.
Next guy up we've got here.
Let's go.
Rashid Shaheed. Both have him going to the NFC East. Yeah, I've got Giants. You got Commanders. I like both options. I think he stretches the field for both teams, gives them a serious deep threat, and both have two really young, promising quarterbacks. I love both of these options.
I mean, yeah. I mean, literally exactly what you said. I think it's a great fit for a deep threat, and I literally had him and Debo just switching teams.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly. I think it's a good fit for both of them if they were literally just to switch.
Speaking of Debo, again, NFC East. Except I think he stays with the Commanders. You think he goes to the Giants? I feel like we keep saying this, but I could see either of these.
Yeah, I mean, he would. I think Debo would be a great gadget piece in that offense. You got Neighbors, Scatterboo, Dart, Theo Johnson. Man, he was good too last year.
Yeah, I like Theo Johnson.
I think Debo can just fit in there just perfectly.
And then lastly, of the wide receivers, before we get into our last one, we're only going to talk about the offensive skill positions today. But last wide receiver, Jawan Jennings, I think he re-signs with San Fran. You think he goes to Seattle? Yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere to be a wide receiver 1. Might even just be a wide receiver 3. But
yeah. I mean, I just think with Rashid leaving, I think that's just could be a good fit. But I could also see him re-signing too. I think either of those options are real good. And with that, I believe we wrap up the wide receivers. So I'll get into my free agency predictions for the tight end position. We'll start off Cade Otton. Another, I just think it'd be a really good fit, just him going to New England. Isaiah Likely. This team got some money to spend. I think the Titans. Chig. I also think, man, he's just a good blocking tight end. And he is pretty decent at receiving. I can see him going to the Eagles on a really cheap deal because I think Dallas Goedert is out of there. And David Njoku, I got going to the Broncos. Darren Waller, I think he's done, man. I got him going to the retirement home. And I can see Dallas Goedert going to Miami if he was to take a cheaper deal. But also, I think he just led that team in touchdowns, I believe, last year, in receiving touchdowns.
Okay, not bad. We had one similar. I'm gonna say it's the same, but so my free agency predictions for tight ends. I've got Cade Otton going to Miami. Isaiah Likely, I think he goes over to the Giants, follows Harbaugh. I think Chigakonkwo, I think he goes to the Broncos. Like you said, he's a great blocking tight end. I think he pairs up with Evan Ingram. Dallas Goedert, I've got going to the Jets. I just think it's a matchup, especially if I'm right with the QB and you get Kirk Cousins. David Njoku, I think he goes to the Commanders with Zach Ertz coming off that ACL injury. And then Darren Waller, if he doesn't go back to Miami, I think he retires again. Again.
Yeah. Wait, didn't he retire to be
a rapper?
A rapper, right?
Yeah, and he was married or dating Kelsey Plum. I don't remember. There's a lot of non-football related things happening with that man.
All right, yeah. I mean, here we'll get into it first. Cade Otton. I liked him. I like him in the Patriots. I just think that you got Hunter Henry there now, which is pretty solid. But I really do think if you were to add to this offense Dobbs and Cade Otton, obviously you see those two names and it's nothing crazy. But I honestly think those are two really solid additions to your
Big
offense.
pieces. Big pieces. And I was really contemplating him just going back to Tampa Bay. And hey, maybe next week on the mock draft, you guys will see. But maybe there's a chance they do grab Kenyon Sadiq. Uh,
Yep.
but yeah, I think Miami's a good spot for him as well. He'll get a lot of targets there because, I mean, outside of Jalen Waddle, what do they have? Obviously Devon Achane gets a lot of targets, but it with wide receiver and tight ends, they don't really have anything outside of Jalen Waddle. So I like him going to Miami there.
Yeah, and then honestly, with the next one, Isaiah Likely, I chose him just because I think, oh, man, it was really shocking that the Ravens signed Mark Andrews to
Yeah.
another contract. So, because I really thought he was going to go here, and maybe there's hope, or in the team that there's hope that they do just wait this out, and hopefully they do get him back. So we could see if that's a possibility. But I think the Titans are going to throw some money at him, and I think that is an easy tight end one there, and I think it's a very good fit.
Yeah, and I really think he just follows Harbaugh. I think he'd be a great complementary tight end to Theo Johnson, but I don't know. I could see him going to Tennessee, getting a bag, being the primary tight end. I definitely think that's a big possibility. In fact, as we're like the more you talked about it, the more I was leaning towards it. But I could also just see him sticking with what he knows and going with Harbaugh. Next
Yeah.
up, speaking of the Titans, Chiga Conquo. I've got going to the Broncos. You've got going to the Eagles. Um,
Yep.
I hope for a fantasy perspective and just from an entertainment perspective, they do get Kenyon Sadiq. But if not,
Yeah.
Chiga Conquo is a great addition for the Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. This was just because I do think there is a good chance they do get Sadiq in the draft. So if they don't, I think this is just they just need to start running this ball again. They need to hopefully get some work done on their offensive line because that was killing them last year, as well as talked about him many times their OC. But I think it's just he's great blocker. I mean, that's just exactly what Saquon needs, and I think it's just a great fit there. And I
Yeah,
don't think he's going to cost a lot either because they
no.
don't have that much money to spend.
One thing as well, I think that we're gonna notice is that these tight ends are not gonna get paid a lot at all because this is
Yeah.
what I feel like I've been saying the last couple of years. This is another fantastic tight end class. Kenyon Sadiq's obviously far and away number one in my opinion, but I mean you got Eli Stowers, Max Clare, Sam Roosh, Michael Trigg. You've got my Notre Dame guy Eli Raridan down there, but there's a lot of quality tight ends in here that you're going to get in the third, the fourth, the fifth round that could come in and produce right away for you. So I think some of these older guys, like the Goddards, the Njokus, the Wallers, you're gonna see are if they're getting contracts, it's gonna be very minimal.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I actually had Goddard going to Miami because they do not have money to spend. And I think Waller's going to be out of there. I don't know what this team is going to do at the quarterback position, and they also need to figure out they need to get they need a lot of things, man. I think your prediction for Miami, what you said last year, I think that's probably going to happen this year, to be quite honest.
I was pretty close this year, but they pulled it
Yeah.
together towards the end of the year. But yeah, I think Goddard goes to the Jets just because he's a vet and Aaron Glenn's job's probably going to be on the line. So maybe he's trying to bring in some older guys that can produce somewhat to make it look like he's building something. Uh, yeah, so I think they do definitely bring in a veteran tight end there because Mason Taylor is good, but I think you still need
Yeah.
that veteran piece. Um, Next two tight ends, we got David Njoku, who I've got going to the Commanders. You have to the Broncos. I think that while Harold Fannon's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't mean Njoku's been bad. Njoku was one of
Yeah.
the better tight ends in the league for a couple of years, and is still an above average tight end. And I feel like people are just entirely forgetting about him because Harold Fannin was the new shiny toy.
Yeah, I mean, he like usually, I mean, these past couple years, he's been like the bright spot of that offense. But you had Harold Fannin, Quinshon Judkins came to town. I mean, you had some better pieces, and that just took it a lot off of Njoku. And I have him going to the Broncos because I just think Sean Payton just wants a playmaker at tight end, and I think that's exactly what Njoku could be for this offense. And you just saw a lot of inconsistency from this offense, and I think they need just more talented pieces, and I think Njoku just fits that perfectly.
And then lastly, we got Darren Waller, where we both basically have the same thing. He's going to retire or go to Miami.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to say, but I did want to add. Speaking of Miami, there's one guy that we forgot who's expected to be released from Miami, the quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Where do you think Tua goes? I'm
Ooh.
putting you on the spot.
Where do I think Tua goes? Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, I could see it. I could see it.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Falcons fans. That's hopefully not, but yeah, I think I could. I definitely think the Falcons.
I would say hopefully for his health, he's going home, but he has shown clearly that he wants to keep playing football. And I like the Falcons. I like the Falcons. I've seen rumors of him going to the Jets as well. And I think
Yeah.
that would just be hilarious for all the wrong reasons. Um, yeah, the Falcons. I didn't even think of the
Oh, the
Falcons. I
Jets
like
would be
that.
so gross. You know where I think he's going?
Where?
I think he's going to Poggers and using code TGN for 10% off of all items. Poggers is a hydration and energy drink mix made for gamers, creators, and anyone who plays life at full speed. Zero sugar, all flavor, and no crash.
I'm going D1
That's
to
where I
Poggers,
think
baby.
he's going. Let's go.
And
Let's
as
go.
always, guys, as we close up here, NFL hot takes. Leave those hot takes down below. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, wherever you're watching this video, leave those hot takes down below. We'll roast you, critique you. We probably won't agree with you, but we will talk about it on next week's episode. Harry, did you have anything else that you wanted to add today?
Tune in next week. Mock draft.
Mock draft season, baby. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.